You are listening to msp-waves radio. I am your host, Agrode, currently witness number 11. We are about to begin the presentation of Steem Queens, a celebration and an kind of an exploration into what does it take to be a top blogger on the Steem blockchain. I have with me um, my co-host, Crimson Clad. Crimson, are you there?
I sure am. How are you, Aggie?
I'm doing great. It is wonderful. This is early for you, so I'd just like to start by saying thank you for getting up early and coming to go do this show with me.
Oh, it's totally fine. I'm not gonna lie. I may or may not have cracked a beer in the sound check room, just to check acoustics. It's 8 a.m. here. It's fine. It's noon somewhere.
Well, as a friend of mine told me, you can't drink all day if you don't start early. So
You can't drink all day if you don't start early. Yeah. What if I just don't stop? Plans ahead. I'm excited for the show. This will be great.
Should be a good one. There are some weird logistical things. The universe doesn't always work the way that I think it will. It seems like Stella is having some life issues, and it seems like Gringalicious is having some travel issues. So, two of my queens are going to have some logistical issues. I'm hoping that Stella might be able to join us later in the show. I have no idea about Gringalicious, so I don't know. But the so I'm going to go drag all of the panel members that are here. I got Alice Yummy Food, Patrice, and Rondek, as well as Crimson Clad. I believe that Beans will be joining us, although I think she's coming in a little bit later. So this will be our panel today. So let me go get all these folks in here. I'd like to just start with talking to Allah's Yummy Food, and in part, if I'm not mistaken, Allah, can you speak? Can we hear your voice?
Yes, hello.
Welcome. It's wonderful to get to speak with you finally. How are things?
Yeah, really good. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show.
Now, you said today is your birthday? Is this your birthday party or your actual birthday?
It's my birthday party tonight, and my actual birthday is tomorrow, but technically at 12, it's going to be my birthday.
Nice. So can I ask how old you're turning, or is that too inappropriate?
Yeah. It's my big 30, so yeah,
wow.
It's a big day.
That is a big day. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So it's a big party. Even my family came all the way from Latvia, so yeah, it's crazy.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like for Allah's Yummy Food, for Patrice and Rondak to sort of explain, and actually Crimson, I'd love for you to do this too. Let's do this in a little bit of alphabetical order and just give a brief introduction to you, what your interactions are on the Steem blockchain, and then I'm dying to kind of come back and start with Allah and just talk about, kind of go more in depth one by one to ask, how did you get started? How did you grow your account? How are you, just how did you become successful? Because I think of all of you as quite successful on here. And I know that there's going to be audience members that are going to be interested in trying to follow that success. So let's do a brief summary of who you are. Let's make sure you state your name and give a little bit of the accent so we know what you're going to sound like. And then I'll circle back up to Allah and sort of just ask some questions. So Allah, you want to tell us a bit about what your blog is and just a quick intro?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Ala, obviously. My username is Ala's Yummy Food, and I've been on Steemit for nearly 2 years, probably now. So I joined in right in the beginning. And I post mainly about food, but I also do a lot of sort of Steemit tutorials and lessons, talk about crypto, and now I started doing a bit of fitness too. So yeah, that's what I talk about.
Okay. Crimson?
I am mostly here in Discord, truth be told. I started out on Steemit in June. So I was part of the June rush of last year when everybody was like, oh, all these new users. But it was an exciting journey. I came in right before the hard fork. Things were all over the place. I started out doing photography and travel blogging mostly. And I found MSP here and got quite heavily involved in helping out in a number of communities, and this being the first and foremost. And it's snowballed into a crazy Steemit Discord community witness career. So I actually don't post as much as I used to. Largely, I'm known for hanging out and helping in communities. And that has been a pretty exciting evolution, I have to say, because here I am on the radio and here I am hanging out with most of you guys day in, day out, helping to hopefully make a stronger community around Steam It.
Now, Crimson, you're cutting out a little bit. If you're willing to hop off and then hop back on, I think that would be helpful.
Can do. I don't know that it'll change much though, because I'm limited to where I can connect today, but I'll do that.
Okay, thank you. Patrice?
Hi, my name's Patrice. I started back in, I think, June or July of 2016, and I'm one of the founding members of Steam Cleaner, and I also started Spaminator to help clean up some of the spam in the community.
Okay. And then Rhonda.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Kay. I am an admin at the Writer's Block, but we started right here at MSP. I joined back in June too, like Crimson did, part of that rush, and came straight to MSP because of the branding that was going on around Steam It. Found a home. We started the fiction workshop, and it just exploded. I mean, it grew so big. We moved out to our own Discord. We have a lot of crossover with MSP. We have a lot of the mods that mod, at the block as well. Works out pretty well. We deal with fiction, nonfiction, poetry, all songwriting, all kinds of things over there. I am also concerned. I've spoken with Patrice about it a little bit. We have a strong interest in plagiarism as well, and keeping that off the platform as much as possible. So we've got some things up our sleeve that we're working on about that too, that will hopefully help a little bit as well. I would love to do it under the kind of in line with what Patrice does, because she does a really good job with that. I also have a 501c3 animal rescue in real life, and sometimes I'll blog about that and the puppies.
All right. So, Ala, I want to start at the top, and I know that you're a little bit short on time. Can you tell us a little bit how you got started? I mean, so you join up early. You're one of the first people here. But how do you turn just like being early into being successful too? What is it that you think makes the blog special, unique? How much time are you putting into this? How did you get to where you are?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I just wanted to say I'm honored to be around with all these like amazing women here, and obviously nice to meet Patrice. And I really support the Steam Cleaners and the plagiarism because I feel very strongly about it. But just going back on how I started, so I think the main thing is that I put a lot of hours into Steam It in the very beginning. I think I was on the platform pretty much like every day, 16 hours. I was like one of those addictive people. And I was just making connections, making friends, researching what other people were doing. And yeah, just kind of making my way there with my recipes, because I had obviously, worked for four years on my content, and so I think that was recognized because it was really good content. It was original. It was all mine. Everything I do, filming, photography, it's completely mine. Yeah, and I just realized that the food community wasn't that big on Steam It, so I thought, here we go, it's my chance to kind of get in there early and become one of the top ladies in food.
Do you think that this is a good website for food? Do you think that there's an audience for it? Do you think that there's a chance that it's going to grow?
Yeah, definitely. I think Steam It is good for any sort of interest because obviously it's a platform where you can talk and write about anything that you're passionate about. Obviously now I'm doing more than just food, but I think anything can go really on Steam It. So that's the beauty of it. It's decentralized and you can talk about anything.
So what brought you to food? So you said food, fitness, and I think you mentioned one other. But what?
Yeah, Steam It lessons. So
Steam It lessons. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, before I joined Steemit, obviously I had no idea about crypto. I had no idea about blockchains. I didn't know anything. And for me, it was, really, really hard to understand it all. It took me a long time, I'm not going to lie. I think it took me a good couple of months to just understand what the hell it all is. So I decided to create like Steemit lessons for the newbies that are exactly like me, who've never heard about crypto or anything, or how to use another platform and stuff like that. So yeah, for beginners, really.
So where do you think that your channel is going to head? How are you going to keep building it? Have you reached maximum potential, or do you think that there's lots more room to grow? How do you see this evolving?
Oh yeah, there's always room to grow. I'm quite ambitious, and I want to be, the best, the top. And in terms of growing, I want to develop. So I'm developing now a whole new series on the platform. Teaching further people how to use all the other applications like DTube, DLive, more Steemit stuff. And I'm also just recently, started working with Promo Steam for UK. So I'm the ambassador for London. So I'm planning to kind of expand the London market and kind of grow a community here, and then sort of be the main point, like the main hub for Steemit in London. And then from there, kind of spread the seeds and get people doing whatever they're passionate about and grow their areas.
So what did it cost you anything? Did you have to pay money to get started? Did you buy a lot of stake? Have you earned all that stake? Like if you're a brand new user today, do I have to think like, wow, I need $50,000 to be successful, or like how did you build the account? What was that process like?
Yeah, no, you don't. I didn't actually put any money at all in the beginning whatsoever. And I mean, even up to this day, just I power up with the Steam that I get sometimes. You don't need any money to start. All you need is time, and time is kind of something that you need to really put in to learn, and you need to be kind of willing to learn. But after that, I think it's just like in any job or any field that you do, it's just dedication, time, and your effort. And if you're actually good at something, if you've got good quality content, if you're sort of participating in the community and supporting other people, then you're going to do well. So these are my sort of main tips. Just really, you need to put a lot of effort in.
Is there anything that you wish you had done differently? Is there anything that you wish that I don't know. What are some of the major lessons that you've learned along the way? Which could be really specific of like how to shoot, pictures of the food that you're going to do, or what kind of video works. Like, what are some of the tricks that you rely on to be successful?
I think the main thing to be successful is that you have to have good quality like stuff. It has to look like you actually did go do some work, put some effort in, not just just did it on your iPhone or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. In terms of things that I did wrong, I don't know. You know why? I think maybe I might not be the best example to answer this, because I've been, doing social media platform for so long. So for me, Steam, it was like a new fresh leaf, and I wanted to do everything perfect there. So I kind of made sure that everything I do on there is I don't make any mistakes, if that makes sense,
What social media platforms were you on before this?
So I'm pretty much everything: YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, everything.
Yeah, you're not messing around. How does Steam fit into that? Is that your flagship account now, or is that like the number 2 or number 3 thing that you're working on? How do you manage all of the different social media things that you're doing, and how do you prioritize them?
Yeah, so in the beginning, when I didn't understand Steam so much, obviously it wasn't my number sort of 1. But like right now, I think I mainly spend time on Steemit. I don't really even spend time on Facebook anymore at all. It's just rubbish. My kind of mentality has changed, because I realized that my work is appreciated here on Steemit. So actually, I'm kind of just announced, I think a couple of weeks ago, I'm going full-time Steemit. So I'll be producing unique specific material just for Steemit. And with other platforms, they really are in the background now. I don't really, honestly, I don't even know. I don't even spend probably a couple of hours a week now. I literally spend on Steemit good probably, 5 to 8 hours a day.
Do you think of that as a job? It does this like, the hours that I'm in here, it doesn't always feel like I'm working. It feels like I'm just hanging out and making content, doing the things that I like and love anyways. Do you think of this as like, got to grind out the next batch of content, got to create this, and it's like a work kind of thing, or are you stuck in like a passion mode or existence where you're thinking, hey, I really need to go, I have to get this out to the world. This is a calling, or like where does that fall? Is this a job, a vocation, a passion, or like what?
Mm. For me, it's a passion combined with excitement. I like you said, I don't really feel like it's a job because you kind of just do what you love, and you're talking to people, you're hanging out with them, you're making actually real friends. Yeah, so it's more of a passion thing for me, and actually ideas are just coming out because I'm passionate about it. Like I've just come up with other series that I want to do, and like I don't even think of it as anything. I'm just excited all the time, and whenever I talk about Steam It, I'm really excited. So yeah, passion, I would say.
So what do you like about the Steam platform itself? Is it just that this is a financial platform? Is it a social media thing? Is it, I get a kick out of this place because I think it teaches peace. I think it helps with an abundance mindset. And I think that lastly, like it has a great, it can spread liberty because free speech is so well protected here. Um, those are some of the reasons why I like it so much. Why do you resonate with, this place? What connects for you?
I think there's a couple of things for me. The first one is probably the fact, like you said, I learned a lot. So because I'm still new to crypto, and I'm not going to say, I've known it for a long time. I learn a lot from people's articles. I feel like the quality of the content here is still much, much higher than anywhere else on social media. Like, you read about stuff that really smart people are writing. We have insane amount of amazing, talented people on Steemit. Obviously, money for me is a big thing because it's now my full-time job. I do rely on Steemit, but I'm also not going to like rely on it 100%. I'm going to try and do other stuff as well, but it's a really good source of, sort of getting paid for your work. And third thing for me is the community, because even though there are some negative stuff about the community, generally I feel that I get a lot more feedback from the stuff that I post. So for example, just to give you an example, I'm doing my fitness series now on how to get sort of healthier, eat healthier, and get more fit. And people are generally watching, commenting, following it, and it just kind of it gets me excited because like I'm helping some people, and you just don't get that connection anymore on any other social media platforms because they just they don't even watch your stuff really. They don't even comment really. So I get the most amount of comments actually on Steemit, which is exciting for me because I feel like, okay, I'm doing something and it's being appreciated.
Yeah, it's nice to get the interaction here. I want to make sure that I can ask some other people on the panel and just kind of keep moving along a bit. If you're still free, I know you have to go at some point, but hopefully I can get you to re-engage again before you have to zip off.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So Crimson, how did you get started? Like what? I know that you came into the Minnow support, but nothing said that you had to become a moderator, really help run this place, and like become involved in 100 different Discord groups. What's driving that? Why does that make sense for you? And what's the passion that's behind that?
Well, I think it comes with a lot of what I do in my actual life and the way that I approach my friendships and the way that I approach with connecting with people. I actually really don't use a lot of social media at all. And that doesn't mean that I don't have experience with it, but it means that I don't really think of Steemit. I don't have any preconceived notions that I'm coming into here with from Instagram, from Twitter, so in some ways, I think it's definitely hampered the way that I post. But in terms of how I approach the community side of things, I don't really think of it the way that I would have other people interact with, say, Facebook or these other social media. And so what that means is I came in here and everyone is a real person to me. Steemit is full of personalities and content and just exciting things. And it really kind of drove me to find people and treat accounts as people instead of accounts and content and money and generation. And so, doing that from day one, the natural place for me to end up was Discord and was Steemit chat. And from there, the more that you talk to people and the more that you understand how they approach their own accounts, and the more that you talk to them off platform, the better you understand them on platform. And there's something about the community around Steemit. And I don't know if it is because we're all still sort of early adopters, or we're all still discovering crypto in a lot of cases, or what it is, but there's a camaraderie here and a willingness to connect that you don't find in a lot of places. And helping other people honestly does give back to you on this platform. It absolutely can be reciprocal. So the more I ended up taking on tasks and getting more involved in Steemit as a lifestyle or a job or a passion, it just snowballed. It really did. And here I am now. Discord is really important to me. And I mean, I know most of you know this if you've actually spent any time around one of the Discords that I'm in. It's really important to me to get to know you as a person and to show you somewhere where you will find more people that you resonate with. So I know I am considered a Discord collector and a community connector. And I think that's awesome. I will gladly take the title.
So what, how can you turn sort of Discord community building, like it's good to have that be a financial gain too on the platform. How do you intermingle sort of growing a gigantic social network with running a blog, but also having your own life? How do you find a balance between the financial aspect and the community aspect, but also the digital aspect versus your terrestrial life aspect? How do you find a balance with that?
At first, I did not. Guys, I sucked at it. I was so terrible at it. And I think that's a learning experience that everybody that comes to Steemit goes through, because you get so excited and you spend all your time here and you throw yourself in head first. And for some people, without a little bit of guidance, that's it, you drown and there's panic. But I think with places like MSP now, and hopefully it's not just me, there's many people doing things like me now, minnows get an idea of, okay, maybe I don't have to put this pressure on myself. And I wish I had had somebody to tell me that. But then again, experience is a great teacher. And Lexiconical, when I first joined, said something to me, and I have never forgot it. And it has turned into something that I pass on a lot of the time. And it is, if you want to make money like a job on Steemit, you must treat it like a job. And what that means is you have to put in way more hours than you expect. And you also have to think, okay, there's going to be times that aren't fun. Am I willing to stick through that? So if you go into it with that mindset as a job, okay, then make it all about money. Otherwise, take some of that pressure off yourself and understand, I don't have to post every day. Every second day might be my jam. Every third day might be my jam. You will fall into a rhythm that works for you. And I think for a lot of people, your personal dreams with the platform and your personal maybe abilities in terms of what you give to the platform, because excitement is awesome, but it's not necessarily enough to drive you. And excitement, if is the only thing driving you, can actually burn you out. So I think the big thing for most people here is start in these communities, start with small posts and start engaging in terms of in Discord and in comments. Because the more friends you make and the more fun, the more you will carry through, I just have to finish this post I've been working on. And instead of putting pressure on yourself to do it, you will find sort of a natural interest in it, because it is hard to find a balance here. Steam burns out a lot of people, and you can come back from that for sure, but you need the tools to do it. And communities like this can definitely help you.
Yeah, I mean, I founded this place with that thought in mind of this getting anywhere on Steam is basically impossible without a community. And I said, let's go form a community and try to craft it into having a culture of a service for others and help other people. And I've been amazed by how much that's stuck. I think of it as the best part of this place. I think of you as a major reason why it is like that. It's the people that are here that help build culture and help build community. And you're the heart of MSP. So I'm thrilled that you've taken so much on and made this such an important part of your life. I mean, so you gave a little bit of advice about new people getting started and a little bit about mistakes for just sort of getting burnt out. Are there other major mistakes that you think new people make on the platform? Or like, if you wanted to shave a month off of somebody getting started, what would you share with them? Don't do this, go do this, and for God's sake, make sure you.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, commenting and following. If I could go back, and I mean, I didn't do it too much, but I did it enough to confuse myself. I followed every friggin' person, and I didn't really understand why I was voting or commenting. So, I mean, the big thing, and now I do get kind of these new people commenting on my blogs. The big thing is don't just come in and drop a one-word comment. You see new people who are like, I must comment on everything to be seen, because we often give the advice, hey, you don't have followers yet, you don't have friends yet, go out, find somebody, make a comment on their blog. Well, unfortunately, some people take that advice and they don't just run with it. They run headfirst, like through a wall or like out a window on a third-story building, and they just comment. That's not going to be effective. So when I get somebody to my blog that says, hello, please follow, love you, great, bye. It gets really frustrating after a time as a blogger. But the thing is, stop and put yourself in that headspace and remember, that was me. I was a minnow. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So, I mean, and I've been doing this on my own blog, and I really appreciate having everybody here to say this to. If you get somebody like that, make yourself a little kind of copy pasta paragraph that just says, hey, I'm not going to flag you, but somebody might. This is not a great way to start. Why don't you leave me a comment that's about my post so I can open a dialogue with you? We need to teach these people, and we were these people. So definitely, if you want to, start strong, just go out. Instead of leaving 50 comments, find 2 or 3 posts that really resonate with you. Ask a question, or maybe point out something in the article that you agree with or disagree with. Something that simply gives a space where the blogger can actually answer you, that opens a dialogue. Because at the end of the day, I don't go looking for people who dump a link on me or who are maybe just clearly going through the motions. But the people who show that they've actually just stopped and thought about a post, I'm intrigued by that. Those are the people I want to connect with. They're here. They are showing me that side of themselves, that personality that we talked about earlier. Commenting like that will change your career. We say when you're new here, and you've said this since the day that I joined here too, is minnows should be commenting, dolphins should be creating, and whales should be curating. You take that a step further. When you get to Steam It, you're ready to perform. You are here. You are ready. you have your skill, your talent. And if you do not have followers, it is like stepping on stage and it is like singing your heart out, the concerto of your life to an empty auditorium. It's wasted. It's wasted
that's
effort.
that's
So,
savagely accurate.
it
Sa-
is. You have it. It's there. You've got it. Just make sure that you find the right audience for it.
yeah, and that certainly takes time. What a wonderful image. Thank you. That thing is fantastic. I want to get to Patrice and Ro, and then I want to kind of open it up for more of a group discussion. Maybe we'll get Stella to come pop in here a little bit. She's still at she's in an urgent care clinic with her kiddo, so we'll see if we can have a healthy enough child to have her participate too. Patrice, do you want to share a little bit about how you got started? I mean, you're involved in the Steam Cleaners, which is one of the biggest and arguably most successful projects that are out here. When I looked at the highest earning accounts, that was one of them, which is amazing because it never self votes, and um, like it that whole project seems to have grown and exploded and is really well thought of on the block. Do you want to talk about your involvement and why that matters to you so much? And you know, how did you manage this as you went along?
It's been interesting. Like I said, I started back in 2016 before Steam Cleaners was here, and I posted a few opinion pieces and didn't get any upvotes or any attention, and I didn't really expect to. I was just kind of exploring the platform, and so I went and started looking around, and I just started seeing all of this content that was not, they were copied articles with no references, and I'm like, is this allowed? And I happened to see something that was posted about steam and abuse, so I went over and checked that out and found that there was a channel for it. And I'm not really a content creator. I'm not very creative. I do have my opinions, and I thought maybe that was something that I could bring to Steam It. And I quickly found that I actually enjoyed the challenge of ferreting out accounts that are not just your simple plagiarists, but your spun content, the people that are using content from non-index sites. So when I was asked to join Steam Cleaners by Annex, I, was thrilled, and I thought it was a great project because at that time, just about every post I had flags. Every post I had flags. And I felt that the project really was something that Steam It needed. And we kind of took it and ran with it. And I helped set up some of the guidelines and the how the procedures on how we would handle certain things, and tried to, we spent a lot of time discussing what we would handle versus what, is content moderation, because we try to, or at least I personally try to avoid content moderation at all costs. I don't think that is something that should be should be the power of any one person or group here. Um, so I found it, interesting. As Crimson Clad said, it's easy to get burned out. And I did get burned out early. And for health reasons, I took a break and came back. And when I came back, I'm still putting in between 30 and 60 hours a week. But I'm doing it more at a pace that I can handle. And I'm also more social. And I found that being social has also helped me prevent burnout and let off some steam when it comes to some of the more difficult aspects of handling abuse.
What what is the passion behind this? I mean, why? Like, yeah, you said it was enjoyable, but there's lots of things that I find enjoyable that I don't then spend 30 to 60 hours a week on. Like, what's driving this? Why is it so important to you to get rid of the plagiarism on the blockchain?
I see a lot of, I stay off of trending as much as possible, but what actually drives me is when I find posts and articles about how Steemit has changed somebody's life or done something for them. Okay. Uh, and I believe that Steemit, both the blockchain and the website, have the potential to become something that is a uh, a force for good. You started the Peace, Abundance, Liberty Network, and I think that's awesome. There's a lot of other communities that have started out here. You have charitable organizations that have started that are trying to do good for the community. You have people sitting at home all around the world that are having hard times, and some of them are creative, some aren't. Some are going to be content creators, and some are just going to be social media. But it's a way for people to interact. There's also the potential for a lot of people to earn a living, like I said, whether you're a content creator or just somebody who is out here with social media and talking to their friends and sharing their pictures. There's a lot of controversy in chat that I read. Is Steemit a blogging site for content creators, or is it a site for social media? And I don't see why it can't be both. And I think that the user interface is very makes that difficult. But I think that the way things are going, and I'm hoping to see SMTs kind of help this along, especially when it comes to content creators, so that we can have both quality content and the social media aspect of it. And I want to just say something about quality um, and adding value uh, real quick while I have an audience. When I say adding value to Steemit, a lot of people misunderstand what I mean about it. It's not necessarily quality, it's originality. Um, as long as you're sharing your original thoughts and opinions, it doesn't matter if you're telling us about your day or if you're working 3 or 4 hours to put out a professional looking post. Um, I feel it should all be welcome on the site. I really do. And I really appreciate those like Crimson Clad, who has her copy paste paragraph ready for the 1 or 2 word commenters, because we really need to help and educate people, uh, and not just flag them immediately. There are always going to be bad actors that we're going to have to flag, but there's a lot of new members that don't know what they're doing. And I want to help those people and help them become part of the community. And as I said, I just think this community well, Steemit and all of the communities that make up Steemit are just wonderful. And I think that everybody will be able to find a niche or that resonates with them and be able to achieve their goals, whether it is just be here to be social and maybe earn $1 or 2, or to spend a lot of time here and maybe learn how to be a content creator, or maybe find other ways to contribute to the community and to help other people. And I feel that one of the things that we have to look at is by ridding the platform of plagiarism. Well, first of all, anything plagiarism, copy paste, we consider it all spam. I consider it spam, because it's things that are taking up space on the blockchain that are lowering the visibility for all of the new members and the old members who are content creators. It all lowers their visibility, so it's all spam. And that's why I fight it so hard, is to make it less visible so it promotes everybody else.
So you're also running a witness campaign. I will put my. I've made very, very few promises in my witness campaign. The funniest of which and the most accurate of which is I just put it in chat. Vote for me. I'm better than a dead witness. Because when I started, there were like literally 20 odd witnesses that were above me that were all dead witnesses. So I campaigned heavily. I actually ran for state representative in Massachusetts. So I was used to politics, used to running, used to like a campaign. I literally had like a 8-month campaign that I ran. Um, that's the joke. The other piece that I worked on was, we're going to spread the values of peace, abundance, and liberty, help the Steem platform grow, and train and retain minnows on the platform. So that was sort of my approach to here's my message, here's my approach, here's the campaign that I'm running. You have the highest ranked witness that any female has that is like only owned by that one person. I believe that there's other teams, and some of those teams have higher witness ranks, but as a sole proprietor of a witness, you're the highest ranked female out there. You broke into the top 50. What did it take to do that? How did you make it there? Do you actually campaign? Where did the votes come from? How'd you figure out that aspect? And also what made you want to do that?
I actually don't do a lot of campaigning. Um, I I spend a lot more time working and talking to people, and I guess that is kind of in itself a campaign. That I spend a lot of time discussing ways to improve what I do and what other people in the community does, and I think that that has really helped me. I actually broke into the top 50 after a couple of those conversations and explaining my point of views on how I see steam cleaners and Spaminator going forward, and also trying to start building bridges with other communities to help uh, the human element that comes in that isn't here to spam and scam, that are just misguided coming from the other social media platforms. So I don't really do a lot of campaigning. I am more focused on getting things done. I started a witness after a lot of prompting from Stella and Stella Bell and others, as a way to bring more awareness and to some of the issues on with abuse, bid bots, boat bots, also communities like MSP. One of the goals I would like to achieve, and I've been too busy to do, is I would like to start trying to coordinate efforts between groups to be able to funnel's the wrong word, but when I get somebody that speaks a certain language that's having issues, so that I can direct them to a couple of communities that they will fit in and be able to get help. Also, be able to coordinate some abuse fighting efforts to so that not everybody has to have their own abuse fighting team. That some smaller communities, don't have the members to support. So I thought that maybe starting a witness would help me become more noticed, and it's made me more sociable. I'll say that. So I've had to get out here and talk about these issues, and I think it's really helped a lot.
Alrighty. Um, all right. So I want to scoot on to Rana, and then I'm going to go sort of try to bring this back from let's have these individual discussions and figure out who each person is as an individual. and then hopefully you guys can sort of, I'll try to ask some open-ended questions, and you can just sort of share a variety of experience and have it be a little bit more group dynamic here. But Rhonda, I want to, how did you find Steem? Like, how did you build the group? I mean, your Discord is one of the largest Discord groups by by literally any means. I think that there's Minnow support and Steam Speak are larger, but then I don't know that many that are as big as the writer's block. So how did you get this thing going? And um, I don't know, what's your passion? How did you get started, and how did you grow?
Well, we got started with the writer's block right here at MSP. So this is our roots right here, and I just want to say that it's a great incubator. When you outgrow MSP, it means that MSP has done its job. So yeah, we started in a little fiction workshop, and now we have this server that's just, it's, our moderators are freaking out right now. I've been looking in the back room, several people joined at the same time, and we have a host system where they talk to people when you come in so that we can figure out, the best environment. And our host and moderators are, their eyes are bugging out of their heads right now. So yeah, it's very busy, and we we focus on the technical aspects of writing. We don't focus on making you feel good. We don't focus on the psychology of writing so much. We don't focus on that sort of thing. We have workshops where we improve the craft. We have the Write Club that's going on now, headed by Jordan Lesich. It's a very intensive, like, boot camp for writers. And we have a lot of things going on there that just seem to draw. I think once people realize that quality does matter on Steemit. When you first join Steemit, you don't want to put your best stuff out there because it's falling into a vacuum. But as you build an audience, you want to make sure that what you put on the blockchain isn't full of errors and doesn't make you look ridiculous 10 years from now, because it's still going to be on the internet. So that's the one thing that we focus on, and that does draw a lot of people. The activity level of our group draws a lot of people, and the content that our writers put out draws people. So that is what has, had our group just compound. I was put onto Steemit last June by another writer friend of mine, who was put onto Steemit by another writer friend of hers. So it was a chain reaction, and I didn't think I would have worked out if I had not landed in MSP and found my village with Gmux and Shane Welker. And I'm going to stop naming people at this point because I'll leave somebody out and then feel horrible. But we have a huge sense of community at the Writer's Block. And I think it's absolutely correct that to succeed on Steemit, you have to have the community.
And I think that purpose matters with that. Like having a niche, having what it is. Like, you start with a niche and then you can expand. But you guys aren't the first group that left. We've had other groups that have come, grown, outgrown us, and then moved to their own server. I think we're a natural stepping stone. So I'm glad to hear that part of this is working. Now that you're on your own, now that you have your own Discord group, what's the vision? What are you trying to build? What do you and then this is actually, I don't mean to like be ripping a band-aid off of the old frustrations here, but very specifically, how are you going to grow, and is Steem a good place for fiction? That has been called into question before, so I'd like to hear vision for growth and why this platform will meet the sort of creative endeavors that you're all working on.
If I smile any bigger, my face is going to crack, because that's a wonderful question. Our vision, we actually have a vision that surpasses Steemit, that's a bigger thing than Steemit, that is going to leverage Steemit and use Steemit to find the audience, so to speak. We actually have incorporated a publishing house. And while I'm having some difficulty getting my articles of incorporation right for Virginia's State Corporation Commission, we have incorporated, paid the fee. It's a done deal. It is an entity. I just have to keep editing my articles. But we want to publish novel length works of fiction and hopefully soon nonfiction. And we want to, we're focused on Steemit authors. I don't believe that we're going to be publishing any of our novels on Steemit. That's a very slippery slope, because there are some policies with Amazon and with other booksellers that if an article is or a item is published somewhere else and it's available for free, they're going to price match. And there have been some people whose accounts have been compromised and in jeopardy by dual publishing. So we're not going to be publishing our novels on Steemit, but the corollary media that goes along with it. Steemit's the best platform in the world for that. The short stories, the spin-offs, the videos, the book trailers, we've got a whole 3D animation thing going on now. And so we've got some pretty big vision for this that's going to reach way past Steemit and hopefully draw people to the Steemit platform. Because if Steamhouse Publishing points every reader who buys a book on Amazon to Steemit and to the Steem, the Steem blockchain, that can only be a good thing. So we have a pretty big vision, actually.
Yeah, I think it was a leading question because I knew a bit about the answer, but I thought that part of what I think helps make all the people here be successful is that they have a vision of what this thing can look like. Alice got the vision of wanting to be the best foodie and create sort of the best content for that. Crimson wants the sort of community to be the biggest thing out there and to help unify all these different people together. Patrice has this vision of sort of like, let's support the content that we want to make visible and help hide or devalue or take away the financial advantages to plagiarisms and spam. And then you have a vision of let's go create a Steem publishing house. I think a lot of the successes, there's a story and a vision and a goal and one hell of a will and desire to see it succeed.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head, and that sort of brings me to a second point. And there are names here, and there were names in the article of, I think almost everyone on this panel has a similar vision for Steemit. I think that we all want to see great success with it. And I know that right now there is a group of people who are meeting together and talking about ways to make things better for the platform, to help the minnows, some of the problems that go on, just wanting to do good things, just good things, and try to be a good influence and a good counterbalance to some of the problems that Steemit has. So I don't know a lot of details. I don't know, many things to share about that, except that there are people, it's like a collective consciousness of some of the leaders on Steemit. Everybody has a very similar vision that thinks along these lines. And people are doing things and actively doing things to try to make it a better environment for newcomers coming into the platform, because it can be really hard to onboard people when they come in and they see some of the drama and they see, some of the stuff that goes on Steemit is not, it could potentially turn a lot of people away. Well, we can change that as a community, and we can make it a more welcoming place, and we can make it a more positive place. And so I think that movement has started.
Okay. I guess I'd like to open this up to the panel as a whole and just have people a little bit more free-flowing dialogue, and that's a good segue. How do we make Steem as welcoming and as appealing as possible for all the people that we want this place to grow? There's a very, very simple mathematical equation that sits in my head, and it's called Metcalfe's law. And allegedly, and there's a good correlation here, but things like Facebook, things like the telephone, things like the fax machine, and it looks like Steemit 2 follows Metcalfe's law in that when you double the number of people that are actively using it, you quadruple the value. So when I think of, what is the single biggest, most important thing I could do to help this place, it's get more people in here. So what can we as a community do to get more people, and help them feel welcome here, help them feel like they can get a place here, help them build a community? Like what else can we be doing to help grow this place so that, literally as this place grows, we're all going to moon. We all go to the same moon. So what can we collectively do to sort of, help attract more people, help make this place better, and to appear as welcoming as possible as a community? And I'll leave this open to the whole panel, and let's see where it goes.
Well, I'm going to jump in because let's face it, that I'm pretty comfortable at this now. But looking at this panel and just going through the questions that you just asked, I think the way that everybody approaches it, this idea of a vision is the answer. Because right now you've got community builders, you've got people who are focused on cutting back on abuse, you've got people who are focused on building the gifts, and you've got people like Allah who are actually out there saying, hey, I make original content, I engage with people. Like everybody on this panel today is bringing themselves. And I know I keep harping on that personality bit, but the reality is there's so many facets to life and to Steam It. And what makes Steam It attractive to new people is different for each new person. So maybe it is, I come here as a writer and I want to write and I don't really give a shit about anything else. Then, so a community with a purpose like what Rhonda and the Block are creating, that's huge. Or maybe I'm someone who is so sick of the bullshit on Facebook and I'm so sick of seeing bots commenting on Instagram or whatever the case may be. Well, Patrice and, Spaminator and Steam Cleaners and all of these other projects, they're taking that off the chain. So this becomes innately more attractive to me. I am somebody who has no idea what I want to do, but I want to produce great content. And I see somebody like Allah who is, who has worked their way up from recipes and photos to vlogs to becoming a whole lifestyle blogger and doing that organically and following her journey. Everybody here's desire to do their own thing is contributing to what makes this platform better. I don't think there's any one answer. I think honestly encouraging and pursuing these individual goals absolutely makes the platform stronger. So, I mean, as we keep saying, find your niche, find this little thing that makes you you and share it because it will join up with all this other stuff going on the platform and it makes it so that there is something for every new person that comes here. There is something that will attract them and will retain them if it's genuine.
I agree. There's a lot of things that the user interface needs to improve on so that we can get new people more orientated to the community. But once they find groups and communities, I think that like I said before, everybody can find their niche and everybody has a place here, whether it's content creators, people who are very opinionated. We have quite a few of those. Like to see a lot less drama on the trending page. But I think that at the end of the day, that a lot of people that put the time in here can walk away feeling that they have done something to make Steam It better. And that's how I feel, is that I've done something to make Steam It a better place. And I just want to say I appreciate Agrode asking me to be here with all of you. And I really don't get a lot of time to curate and read, but I always appreciate when I get the chance to, read some good content and talk to people like Rhonda Kay and All Is Yummy. And of course, you, Crimson Clad. You guys are doing a great job with the new taking over the Steam It chat server. And that's a good service for the community. And I think all of us here, from blogging to social aspects, and are making this a better place. When we were talking about comments and comment forms, I want to say something, and this is kind of like a little ad I need to do about bots. And if I don't want to put a value on bot comments that provide a service to the community. So a lot of people ask me about them, about reporting them. And my line is flag them if you don't like them, and find me if they flag you back. Just be kind about it, because the bot owners don't know if they're appreciated or not unless we tell them. So if you like what the bot owner is doing, give them a little upvote. If you don't like what they're doing, please give them a little flag. Just be kind about it.
Guys, thank you so much. I just wanted to say that I have to go. But I really, really enjoyed the talk so far, and I really appreciate everyone who's listening and everyone who's participating. And yeah, really, really great. Thank you so much for inviting me on tonight. Sorry I have to go, but I have to go and celebrate my 30th now.
Well, thank you for being here, Ala. Do you want to just give us one last thought of sort of where your vision is going, and how you think, what's your account going to look like a year from now?
That's a really good question. Yeah, my vision is actually to bring more women onto Steemit. So I've already organizing now several groups and official meetups, specifically for ladies, just to sort of explain the crypto, the Steemit, because I do think it's quite male dominated on Steemit. So that is my main sort of vision for next year, to have kind of more of a 50-50 equality on Steemit, and yeah, getting really, really much bigger on promo Steem in London, and kind of just spreading the word there, and growing the community in UK.
Well, that's a pretty good segue. Thank you for coming in, Ala. For folks that want to touch the topic, then I would ask, like, I don't actually know the ratio of men to women on the Steem blockchain, but I don't think it's 1-to-1. So what could be done? From a business standpoint, it's good to attract more women. From an equality standpoint, it's good to attract more women. Like, what would make this place an even better spot? What is stopping people? I mean, I think of Steem as like, if I was like a single mom, this would be amazing. If I had to go raise a kid but wanted to work but didn't always want to commute, like there are some aspects of Steem that could be really phenomenal. But what do we need to get the word out, or what do we need to actually be a better place? What's missing that's not here now?
This is a tough question, in that I think a lot of the answer is actually, it's encapsulated with the fact that, as Patrice said, we talked about, there are some issues with the interface and everything else, and that's not a woman issue. I think it is that educating people about what the platform is really about and how it really works is already an issue for Steemit. And so I think, in terms of getting new people on board, women or men, there's a real lack there. And the problem becomes, in that case, the people that do get on here, and in a lot of cases, our largest growth has been in areas of the world that maybe don't have the opportunity to earn as much. And so what happens there is, sometimes there's a cultural connection too, where women are not necessarily always online as much. And I know that sounds really ridiculous and probably kind of quasi-racist, but you have to kind of look at it culturally too. We can't say, oh, we're only looking for North American women, or, oh, we're only looking for Asian women, or, women from Africa, or whatever the case may be. Women from all over the world. So the biggest issue is simply kind of educating people about STEAM. It's not just a woman thing. But when we do see a lot of the people that are coming in this huge influx, they are often coming from societies where the male is expected to go out and find, ways to make money, and the female is maybe in a different sort of gender role, which sounds ridiculous. So the big thing is to say, okay, you know what? If you are a female in a country that you don't necessarily have as many options for earning, Steam It is there for you. And that becomes something else. It would be really amazing to see really concerted efforts on the chain to bring in, say, a group of women from Africa, or a group of women from Asia, or something like that. But I mean, if you kind of take it away from the male female divide, Steam It in general, and even Steam, but Steam It, the site, really does need to do a better job at explaining what it's about. And that's something that Jeff, my witness partner, Follow BTC News, and I have spent some time doing. Is, I mean, we actually market for Steam It. We put out ads on Facebook, we put out ads on LinkedIn, and we just do that quietly in the background for things like Utopian and Facebook. But the big thing is we have this amazing site that can't decide whether it is a social media platform or a crypto wallet. And it's doing both. And it doesn't really have a great place to explain either. So communities like this start stepping in and taking the place. So this is something that I would also love to see Steam It Inc. step up and do a better job explaining and onboarding everyone, women and men.
How would you market this place differently? I mean, regardless, I don't. I want this to be somewhat of a let's tell success stories of people that have been here. I don't. I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole of really trying to build the gender divide. But I want to acknowledge if there is one or why there is one, and look for some low-hanging fruit. It sounds like messaging might be off. Do you think that we need what would be the different message that you would provide? What would make it so that this place would be like, wow, I really should spend more time here, or I need to go check that thing out. Like what would elevate what we're saying about us now to that level?
Ladies, I don't want to be the only one talking.
I think that part of it is what Crimson Clad said about underdeveloped countries or other countries, that women play a different role in society. And that doesn't always give them the opportunities for education and development in areas. One of the things that is lacking, and one of the things that my mother, as a matter of fact, commented on not too long ago, is the fact that there's not, or she hasn't, and I haven't found any arts, crafts, stuff like that. I mean, there's a little bit out there in the artist area, but not the crafts and things like that that are more about homemaking for those that don't have a professional lean or a professional role in society, may not be have developed the skills to become a content creator. So I think there's a lot of things that intimidate women when they come to Steam It the first time. I know, looking at trending, if you find women on there, they're very successful, and they're either professional or they're very pretty, they're young. So that can be somewhat intimidating. And so there's a lot of different aspects that I think that are putting women off when they first come to Steam It and just look around. And not to mention, and I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but there's a lot of people, and I'm not going to say they're guys or girls because this is the internet, we don't know, that sign up and take post pictures and stuff from other social media sites that are popular and say, hey, I am this person and I am successful. And so it's very off-putting when you see a lot of those fake accounts as well.
So One thought is we could support somebody that can do either crafting or homemaking and sort of help build some accounts that do that. What would be another suggestion to sort of grow the lady audience, the demographic of females on the blockchain? What else can we do as a community to facilitate that?
Well, I think again, it just kind of comes down to I don't know that it's that they're not here. I think it is that a lot of them may not be considered. What do you want to call it? That the don't see quite as many female whales, but that's not even necessarily true. I don't know that we necessarily need to go out and say, hey, we need more women on this platform. I think they're here. I really do. I think that with a natural growth that, we're going to see just as many women joining. I think if anything is off-putting, a lot of women are kind of uncomfortable with the idea of being jumping into something like, say, crypto analysis. There are lots of them doing it, but the problem becomes literally it was in, and I'm trying to remember the publication, there was a giant friggin' article about women are scared of, blockchain technology or Bitcoin or some bullshit article like that. And I mean, when you're inundated with media that tells you that you are afraid of a technology or money or an entire sphere of influence that's really connected to what we're doing here, you kind of go, okay, well, I'll just be quiet and I'll do my craft blog. But you have tons of people on this platform and tons of women on this platform who are interested in it. It's just definitely, I think that some of them don't necessarily, want to touch shit like that. So they're like, that's fine. I got my own thing. Again, I don't know that you will see as many female accounts on here kind of building a personal brand right out the get-go if they're not already in that niche somewhere else. So somebody that comes from, say, Facebook, who's already known as a personal brand, who puts their life stories and their pictures on the chain, they come here and it's a transition. But for somebody else joining, they're joining to talk about their interests or their skills or whatever the case may be, but they're nervous to potentially just start posting, a million selfies or start building that personal brand. Because sometimes you get people who say, oh, well, she's just a girl. Like, she's just posting photos and she gets $1,000. That's bullshit. So it's difficult because I think we kind of censor ourselves a bit. I guess my personal take on it is the women are here, but a lot of them just are in the community doing their own thing and not pushing the fact that they're women. Does it matter? No, they're just another person here on Steemit. So I think the big thing becomes, is the divide and is the distribution making it so that these women are huge accounts that a ton of people notice? Maybe not. And maybe that's something we need to approach. But the ladies are here and they're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Patrice, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think the women are here. We have quite a few women in the writer's block. I think that there are some negative ideas that float around about women and the women's place in a situation like this, and some of it's off-putting, and women have to earn it just like the men do, and we do sometimes have a little stronger struggle, but we do have to earn it, and we can't enjoy. I've seen so many women, not just here but in other places, they seem to enjoy being victimized and seem to enjoy being victims, and that just makes my skin crawl. There are many empowered women on Steemit, and I think that's what we need to find, is more empowered women who can come in and hold their own. I haven't had a single issue as a female getting where I've gotten to with the writer's block and with our group. And, Crimson is extremely successful, and we don't go around saying we're girls, give us a break. It's not like that. Crimson, she's young, she's younger than me. She doesn't leverage her looks to get, she uses her brains to get where she's gotten. And so I think that that's what we need here is more empowered women and more confident women, and women who don't get tangled up in being women. I think, I think that there is a huge opportunity here for women, especially when we start building these communities. What I've seen and what I'm seeing right now is leaders of communities. You have all these different discords, and they're all so focused on such different things, but yet you have the leaders of these discord communities and these discord groups that are coming together and meeting in voice and talking, and forming a wave of change that I think that will address some of these issues. And guess what? A lot of these are women. Look at Shadows Pub. Look at what she's doing with PYPT. Holy moly. I mean, these are women.
Oh, yes,
And
you're
so,
doing a great job.
yeah. And so these are women who don't get sucked into the, I'm a woman, you must behave this certain way around me because I'm a woman. No, these are women who just go get it done. They just get it done. And I think we're going to attract other women like that. And I think that's where the answer is going to lie. Not necessarily in the topics or the contents. The communities will come, but I think just in the women that will get it done.
So hold on, I want to go right there, because that's a great point. Where's the next Steem Queen going to come from? How do we find them? How do we help them? How do we support them? How do we Steem Queens are great. We want big accounts here, and we want big female accounts just like we want big male accounts, but how do we foster this? What can we do as individuals to where are we going to find the next one? How are they going to grow? And how do we help make that happen?
Honestly, it's the exact same way we're going to keep building new male dolphin. Again, this comes back down to, this is not a woman issue. They are here and they're making their content. Now you've got initiatives to basically curate, women curating women and things like that. But the reality is women don't have to do anything differently on here. And I know this may or may not be an unpopular thing, but empowerment comes in so many forms. I personally, I'm not comfortable yet with myself being put out there on the chain in terms of me and this meat sack that I drive around every day. But in terms of my thoughts and my ideas and my passions, those go onto the chain. You get a more pure version of myself in that way. But the women who are taking, whether it's their face or their they're athletic. I mean, we keep saying things like, oh, crafting and homemaking and whatever. Dude, my best girlfriend is a fucking welder. Oops, I don't know if I can do that in Saturday morning, but I did. She's a welder, things like that. The reality is I find you are empowered if you are in control and ownership of your content. So for the ladies out there who are doing live streaming themselves and their face or whatever it may be, as long as you are owning that content, it is your choice to put it out there. You are genuine in how you present it. I am fine, because we've got, some awesome dudes on the platform who literally are just, their shtick and their content is themselves and their personality. Now, women aren't comfortable in a lot of cases because a woman often will draw some ire for that, and often from other women. So one of the things is women have to be good to women. Men have to be good to men. It comes back to the same thing that I say to everyone in every community. My friends, don't be a dick. You have the power here. Choose to lift people. The reality is when we have something like Steem Cleaners, collective groups that come together to do things like flagging and policing and patrolling and, some community standards as they evolve, that's great. But as a person, You don't necessarily need to go out there and get into that drama. Support the people who are real and genuine. I totally agree with Patrice and Rhonda on this front. Provided your content comes from you, whatever the I'm going to try not to swear. I swear a lot on my radio shows. Sorry, guys. Whatever the hell your content is, as a woman, don't be scared to put it out there. As a man, don't be scared to put it out there. And don't be scared to lift the other people you see doing original things. That is what will make this blockchain better. And I mean, personally, what I'd like to see is more women in a coding space and more women on a technical side. But that's been a struggle for a long time. That is starting to balance out. So we'll get them here. For sure we will.
I think you're right. And when I'm talking about bringing women to the platform with homemakers and crafts and stuff like that, I'm talking about those that normally wouldn't be comfortable entering, Steem it in another capacity. And I think you're right. There is a lot of women out there that just aren't known as women. And as a matter of fact, most people didn't know I was a woman until shortly before I ran for witness.
Totally. I get it all the time.
So I think that being here for that long and most people not knowing, I don't know if that hurt me or made it better for me. I'm not sure. It didn't really matter to me. I corrected a few people only because a lot of them were embarrassed to find out that I was a woman later, and I didn't tell them. So I did start correcting people that I am a woman. Not because I want to be known as a woman, but just because I did embarrass quite a few people by them not knowing I was a woman. And I'm hoping that we are all a lot kinder to each other and a lot less critical. And one of the things you brought up is talking about cryptocurrencies and stuff like that. I know, the basics of the blockchain. I'm more of a hardware person. I need to learn to do some programming better than my Google hacks and that. But I think that it's very intimidating to get it if for somebody who doesn't know what cryptocurrency and stuff is and aren't very technical to start talking about it. And I see a lot of people that make a comment that's incorrect about something, and they get totally bad responses, basically telling them they're idiots or they don't know what they're talking about. And I think we all need to be kinder to each other, whether we're female or male. But I know myself, I don't like to write about stuff I'm not 100% sure about, because I'm afraid somebody's going to come over and call me an idiot and unvote my witness for having some misconception of how something works.
Oh, amen. Kindness costs nothing. And I'm using push to talk, so I can't clap. But imagine they're in there. Kindness costs nothing. And honestly, that is a beautiful thing about Steem It. Charity costs you nothing. Kindness costs you nothing. None of these things cost you anything. And that is not, a nurturing female perspective. That is a kind human perspective. You literally can go today. You can find a charity. You can find somebody who needs a fundraiser. You can find somebody who just needs a little, bump in the rump to make them a little bit happier. And you can go click upvote, and you took nothing out of your pocket. You can actually go and just look at a post. You could put one extra view on that post. You could put one kind comment on that post. This platform allows for you to go out there and make real connections. And in some cases, a financial difference, literally handing money to someone else without taking it out of your own pocket. And that is so, so huge. So huge.
And it doesn't cost anything to give a little constructive advice or constructive criticism or some praise or some encouragement and say, hey, you're actually incorrect here when you said blah, blah, blah. This is actually how it works. And hey, great job. I gave you a little upvote, even if you just give them a 10% upvote for giving it a try. And it's, we can do a lot in the way of educating other people with our knowledge and things that we know things about. that other people may not know. And I don't think this is necessarily male or female, but from a female perspective, I think that when somebody comes and tells me something that I have wrong, I usually appreciate it as long as it's, a constructive comment or a constructive criticism, as opposed to being a jerk about it and flagging me.
It might be a little bit female.
Might be.
I like the whole idea, the whole philosophical concept of the gift economy. Um, I think that works. And I think that when you look at the success of certain discords, certain movements, certain groups, there are charity discords out there that are just really killing it, and they're putting resources in the hands of people all over the world. There's the writer's block, and we have the reputation of being very tough and very, very hard to take to, for a lot of people. Our leaders are used to dealing with this on kind of a professional level, and there's just no fluff. It's all lean. You've cut the fat off, and we cut to the chase. But the whole point is no matter how unpleasant our feedback or whatever can be, or our help can be, the point is that we're trying to help people write better. It's about helping and about building and about building the skills. And then the bigger accounts I see are the accounts, the ones who have reached out to people. If you didn't buy in, if you did not buy in and invest into Steem and that whole thing, then you got a large account because you helped other people grow their accounts, and you helped other people, you gave them a leg up. And that's probably going to be just about true across the board. And I don't have the statistics to back it up, but I don't see how it could be any other way. If you didn't buy in and you're a dick to everybody, then, you're not how are you going to succeed?
Totally. Yeah. Totally. And we can ask Aggie about that. I mean, he's been pretty open with his own growth experience on the chain for sure. Right. I mean, you came in hot, didn't you?
Well, part of the reason why I think I'm as good at this job of like helping new people and like telling them what not to do or how to be successful is because I've literally done every stupid thing that I have encouraged people not to do. Like come in and spend hours writing a post with no audience. As you have put it, sung my heart out to an empty auditorium. Oh, I've done that. I tell people don't do follow for follow. That's how I started. Like literally, I was like, hey, follow me. I was like bugging all the whales that were on the platform with like just meaningless comments or very selfishly looking for somebody to help me. I did all of it. So there's not any place where I can point to that and say like, the one of the lines that I like is an expert is somebody that has failed more times than you have tried. And in that regard, I spent almost 8 months to a year failing pretty miserably. And so much of my goal since then has been trying to figure out how to help other people. And in my mind, I don't spend a lot of time thinking, how do I help men? How do I help women? How do I help any of the demographics that a government agency is going to use, pick your country of origin, pick your religion. I try to be as agnostic about these things as possible. In sort of the same way, I've gotten into arguments over content too, like what makes for good content. And it's like, it's super subjective. How the hell do I know? But what I do know is that if I get a lot of people here and there's a breadth of content, then whatever you were interested in, you are more likely to find. So my primary objective is simply get more content, get more people, and good content will be subjective, but you'll find a certain percentage. If I get more people here, it'll be some Africans, some Asians, some Americans. It'll be French speakers, Spanish people, Chinese speakers, Korean speakers. Like if I feel like if I keep it generalized, I can try to get just about everybody. And, some of the advice is useful for everybody. But, as I as I try to think about what does this platform need to be successful, we're getting to a scale where messaging matters and how you approach things matter. And we're big enough where we can start specializing some of this message to go to different groups. And what resonates in one community might not resonate in another. And, there's aspects of this that border on like sexism or racism or like if you really try to narrow your message. But having been in marketing for a long time, you give very specific messages based on the demographic and the group of people that you're looking for, and you keep tweaking that message until it resonates. And once it resonates, you can just bring on reams and reams of people, huge gangs and groups. So I don't, to date, I've just been focused on, let's get a bot, let's go help people, let's get this thing started. And I haven't given much thought beyond, are there ways to attract men? Are there ways to attract women? Are there ways to attract different groups? I try to build communities independent of any of those things. Just, I got a group for Venezuelans, a group for the Turkish. It's not like males and females within that. It's just trying to go after growth. But I guess ultimately part of what I'm excited about is having large accounts that are female run and obviously female run. I think is helpful for this platform. And I think some of the best marketing that we can do is just point to people like Stella Bell and be like, wow, look how big an account you can get. Or, I love food and I love blogging and a lifestyle blog. Look how big Gringalicious and look how big Olive's Yummy Food got. And so I just want to, my first approach at this is really just, hey, let's showcase. But I'm still wondering if I need different messaging for different groups or what I need to do, not just to bring in more women, but again, to bring on more people. Because fundamentally, my last thought here, and then I'll turn it back to Crimson, is just if we can double the number of people, we can quadruple the value, and we all go to the same moon. So what else can I do? What else can audience members do? What do we need?
Well, and I mean, it is tough because, innately we as women kind of dance around this. And I mean, even today, there was a lot of like, what is the focus of this panel on? Is it going to be hard-hitting feminism? Is it just going to be talking to some women who've made it? And, there was a lot of back and forth. And part of that is because we don't know the messaging. I mean, feminism is a thing we still need, but for a lot of people, that's a really uncomfortable subject. So the messaging, as you say, like how do we massage that messaging? How do we find ways to reach out to everyone? Because it's true, we will get these people here. People will come, Steem will grow. But part of that is whether we like it or not, women and men look at their own identities, their own place, their own expression differently. And that's not even necessarily a feminism thing. That's not, that's not a humanism thing. That's just we communicate differently or we have different goals. So, we always want to say, okay, this is a person by person case. But when you are trying to bring hundreds of thousands of people to a platform, you can't message on a person to person level. Like, we can't do that. Ain't nobody got time for that. So absolutely, we have spaces where we have to look at, okay, well, what is sort of a not shitty way to appeal to women, like that isn't pandering or that isn't insulting to men by insinuating that women need to be treated differently, or isn't insulting to women by insinuating that they need to have their hands held and led onto the platform. We are in a society where we are hyper aware of these issues around messaging, and it definitely makes people uncomfortable. And I think that's where we see these communities stepping in, is people taking it on themselves, frankly. We've already got spaces, right? We have these communities. We have Team Girl Power. We have Steam Sugars. We have places all over. The Discords are growing. The groups are connecting. So now it comes down to the person-to-person part we talked about. And it's not necessarily a messaging thing. It's simply people on the platform doing more to connect, others to the places they need to be. It can't just be something that I do or that MSP does or that, the Steam at Ramble does or any of these other Discords. It has to be a person-to-person thing. Hey, Aggie, I heard that you are starting to get into crocheting on your last blog. Well, you know what? I happen to be in a knitters Discord. Let me send you an invite. And organically, as individuals, we will start hopefully, and everybody that's listening will start hopefully reaching out to others and making these person-to-person connections that the platform maybe can't. All of us as lovers of Steam It and as lovers of Steam, and in the interest of seeing it grow, can now start sharing what we know with each other to make it more effective.
I'd like you to know that I'm not actually a crocheter. I am an accomplished knitter, but I don't crochet.
Well, they're two totally different things.
They are, and I just didn't want to be pigeonholed as a crocheter.
My bad. They're all the beauty of yarn. Truth be told, I think that kind of thing is amazing, and I suck at stuff like that. So props to anybody who's a legit crocheter. And also, if you are, please send me a DM because I really want somebody to make me one of those toques with the Viking horns. I'm putting out a Steam bounty on today's panel.
Nice. Well, it looks like Beautiful Bullies can crochet. Maybe and she even leveled on that when you were saying Viking horn. So that might be the Discord gods talking through us to find you a Viking hat, a knitted Viking hat, or crocheted, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, that's my personal take on it. And I feel like I'm talking so much. So Patrice, after you get your coffee, come back here and be like, Crimmy, shut up. Rhonda, you know that I'll talk forever. So both of you guys just jump in and calm me down.
I'm terrible at crocheting. I probably haven't crocheted since I was 10 years old. Now, I can change my own oil, change my spark plugs, change my alternator. There's a lot of different things I can do, but crocheting is not one of them.
Yeah, that's me. I can barely cook, so I can sure clean up dog poo with the best of them.
All right.
But I was just going to say, I think that we just need to. She was talking about messaging for marketing, and I'm not a very good person to speak on that topic. But I just think that whatever message we send out is that it's okay to be whatever you are, and that we're going to have all different types of personalities, levels of people who have an occupation, have a profession, homemakers, and just need to make sure that the message is welcoming to everybody.
Okay, so we're getting to the end of time. Not like all time, but the end of the show, anyways. I'd like to go give everybody a couple minutes to kind of give us some last kind of closing thoughts. In the last 10 or 15 minutes, I wanted to go let a representative of Steam Sugars and Team Girl Power sort of like talk about their Discord groups and just sort of share with us what they're doing and what their mission is and what they're hoping to accomplish. And so I want to bring this panel discussion to a close. And I'd like to leave it pretty open-ended. I don't want to lead this anywhere. I still have some thoughts of things that I'm interested in, but I just want to leave it open-ended. How do you guys want to close this conversation? Where do you want to? I'm just going to leave it as that.
Are we going to go to the top of this hour, or are we just kind of going to go organically through another hour if there's people willing to talk? I mean, it's your. We've only got the scheduled time to the top of the hour.
Yeah, they typically go 11:01, and then which is in 18 minutes. So I figure I'll let everybody have a relatively short or like a kind of closing thought, give a couple minutes to each of the Discord groups, and then completely wrap up, and everybody gets on with their day.
You mean they don't want to stay here and listen? Come on now.
Well, I mean, if I mean, I can keep my stream going. Are you asking me to go hold it open longer? Like, I guess.
No, it's totally fine. I there will be some plans for some more live entertainment after this. I'm not 100% sure what they are yet, so that's okay. I just wanted to know sort of how much time we've got, because I would love to see. I know we've got Lima Being, who will pop in and talk about her Discord. I'd actually really like to see Shadow's Pub if she gets a chance. If maybe we could drag her into Soundcheck, I would love for her to be able to do some talk. I'm just looking through people in the audience who might have some quick, I don't know what you want to call it, a little bit of a promo for what's going on. I know
right.
Lima had already planned, but I'm just looking who I can grab right now.
No,
and giving them a little bit of advance warning.
Well, I told Mean Mommies has a surrogate here that's supposed to go represent Steam Sugars. Lemma Bean is here. I gave these folks a notice a couple days back, so they've been known. So I do want to give them an opportunity, but I do want to also. I don't just want to be like, all right, great, thanks, that was the panel. I like to give people a chance to go share any closing thoughts that as the spirit moves them. What should we all know? What should we walk away with? Either about whatever. I'm going to leave it totally open-ended. Forgive me for that, but why don't we do this in reverse order? Rhonda, what do you? How do you want people walking away from this this forum, this panel? What do we need to know? What should we be leaving here with?
Well, I think people should know that there are some very powerful movements in the Steam community that are happening. There are people, and I'm one of them, who believes that the community that we are growing here around the Steam blockchain is going to have a powerful impact on the entire world. I mentioned before, charities are raising money to, feed people around the world. The Steam blockchain has made a difference in the Appalachian community where I live for animals that nothing anywhere, not the ASPCA, the HSUS, the government, the law enforcement, Steam has totally eclipsed all of those put together as far as helping me make a difference in the culture here and in the awareness that the world is watching, and that these nasty things that we do to the animals in secret are not so secret anymore. So and it's made a difference in the community. You can see it everywhere. I mean, on Facebook, social media, in the stores, when you go and people talk, it's a huge thing. And so there's a certain power and empowerment that comes with Steam. And there are people who've become aware of this, who are talking and figuring out ways to basically, leave a mark on the world with it. And that's what I want people to take away, is that this is more than just, a hobby. It's more than just sitting down and writing a blog. That there is here some power to, leave a great footprint on the world. And we want that footprint to be positive. We want it to be good. We don't want to let drama, and things that are happening on the Steam blockchain take priority over that. There are so many radio broadcasts. I know I'm getting ready to launch a new show. I think Shadow's Pub may be speaking out of turn, but Shadow's Pub may be helping me with that a little bit. And we're going to discuss writing in a capacity, kind of a greater world capacity. So I think it's a social thing. I think it's a world thing, and I think that we actually are sitting on the cusp of doing some wonderful things in communities around the world. And let's just all remember that.
Rock on, Patrice. How should we be leaving this panel?
I think Rhonda said it very well. I think that Steemit has a large potential to make a lot of changes in the world. on an individual level as well as for groups of people and countries. There's a lot of charities. There's a lot of good people coming into the community that are trying to make their local area a better place. There's a lot of people coming into the communities trying to make Steam It as an online community a better place. I think we all have something to bring to the table, and going forward, we just need to support each other and reach out when there's a need to do so, and maybe find other groups that can help fill that need. And that's one of the things I have been bad at in trying to help new people come to the community. So I think that's it. I've started a new show on Tuesday nights where people can come and ask questions about me as a witness. Also talk about abuse issues affecting Steam It and the blockchain. People who have questions about what is and isn't abuse, and I'm hoping that by being more communicative, that will help everybody become part of Steam It and part of our larger community. And that's going to be it's called Trash Talk with Patrice, and it's on one of your competitors, the Steam Star Network.
I don't know that we're competitors. I think we are complementary. Honestly, I think both networks are going to start filling up their slots. And let's face it, sometimes there's going to be overlapping shows. We need more than one network because we've got a ton of people who have stuff to say.
I think so too, and I don't know. I couldn't figure out another word besides competitors, because you're right, that's not correct. And I've heard a couple of people saying they want to spin off and do their own thing too. So I think that there's going to be a lot of that in the future, because time slots are kind of thin.
It's true. It's totally true.
Yeah, I tend to think of all these different Discord groups and different channels and different anything as I think of it as a big lunch. We're all in the same cafeteria, right? So you can pick whichever lunch table you want to sit at, find your crew, find your community, find your niche. But it's not like somebody being at a different table takes food off of mine. I think it's all a way that we all grow these communities. We all find the friends and family that we fit in with. So, yeah. All right. So, Crimson, do you want to go give us some last thoughts on, I don't know, what we should be leaving this panel discussion with?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's face it, everybody came in here a little nervous and with some trepidation about what a Steem Queens female-centric feminist panel might look like, but it's really not about that. It's important to celebrate all facets of success on the platform, because if one woman does it, if one man does it, those are things that can inspire and empower other people. So, I mean, yeah, we're talking about great ladies today. We're talking about big accounts. We're talking about women on the platform. But it really does. If I have your ears for this 1 second, all I can say is be kind to each other. And it sounds so silly and so simple. And it is. It really is. So when you see these accounts, female or male, when you see somebody doing something awesome, give them that little vote. Give them that little encouragement. Find something you like in what they do and use it to make your own content or your own commenting or your own curating or your own investing better. Develop yourself and rise with the rest of the people around you, whether they're women or men. Some of them are going to be women and some of them are going to push you and kick your ass. And you're going to, you know what? Just like it. Go along with it, right?
Alrighty. So I think that's going to formally end the panel. I'd like to go thank my guests. Actually, I'm going to go, before I do this, Stella was kind enough to go put together a little YouTube presentation for us because she wasn't able to go attend. So this is the YouTube thing that she created, and I'm going to go into OBS and I'm going to go show my screen. And I guess I need to whatever we can just roll with this.
Hello, Planet Steam. This is Stella Bell, and my daughter is sick today, and I have to take her to urgent care. Don't really have an option on this one, but I wanted to let everyone know that I want to make sure people know that we need to all get really specific at what we're good at and then just go for it. There's no need to be afraid anymore. We just need to step forward, let it be known what is our main thing, and then that will attract other people to you or your project. So we have a unique opportunity. There's so many things yet to be built, to be created. So let's all get really specific. Follow your main energy and seriously go for it. On the other side of fear lies success and adventure. So, you really don't know when your time is going to come and your life will end. You might as well live it as if it were your last day. Live with no regrets. This is all that I wanted to say for this show. All right, take care. Goodbye. Thanks to AgRoad for having this show and bringing to light some of these amazing women that are doing really cool stuff.
So I thought I would just share that with everybody because Stella is such a powerful voice on this network, on this blockchain, and wanted to go give her some credit for that. Okay, so the last, let me go change my OBS back to my beautiful face. All right, so now we've invited a handful of people on to go talk about some of their projects. Actually, Zipra, if you could I'm going to drag you into the msp-waves waiting room so that you can go talk about steam sugars in the not too distant future here. So please check in with GloboCop. You got to unmute yourself and then go through a little bit of audio work with them. I guess I want to go, let's start with Chew Girl. Chew Girl is a long-standing friend of Minnow Support. She's one of the biggest prize winners of all time that's in here. Has helped start some groups that have actually started in MSP and then gone elsewhere. So she herself is one of these people that has used this place as an incubator. She lives off of crypto, and I think of her as a savvy trader, just a savvy person in general. And I've learned from her, and I like her quite a bit. Let's give her a chance. And Chew, do you want to just share some thoughts, or share a project, or just share advice? Hopefully you're there.
Hi, I'm here. You're breaking up a bit for me though, so I'm not sure if I'm going to break up for people too.
Me as well. I think it might be Ag.
Okay. Yeah, so I've, pretty much been in Minnow Support since you started it. And in that time, I've got involved in several groups. And I've been listening, what's the time now? Since about 11:30 my time, and it's just coming up to 1. But I was doing other things, so not really in chat. And just going back on some of the things that I've heard, I don't really think that I've felt discrimination either as a woman, and I've certainly not gone, I'm a girl, vote for me, any of that kind of stuff. So I agree with like what Krimi and what Rhonda was saying before about, just get out there, do your thing, build your profile, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's like a way more powerful way to go about being successful on Steemit than, just posting pretty pictures of yourself or whatever. Like, you see that on Instagram all the time. So yeah, having the good content is what will get you followers, not your gender. But I also think, there's a place for that kind of thing as well. I know Lima Being's quite supportive of like women in general. For me, I don't feel the need for it, but I can understand that there are perhaps women out there who do need a bit more support. So the things that I'm involved in are Team Australia, which recently had its own server set up with the Kiwis, and that one's still growing and trying to find its feet. And we are still very active in minnow support. There's the Steam at World Maps project, which has been going for a couple of months now. And like every day, we're curating travel posts, and at least half of them are from women. And of the people that pop up regularly, I mean, a lot of them are women. Like Joy the Wanderer, she's like one of the, like, she's amazing. She just kind of travels around and writes awesome posts about it. She's part of that Chinese community. So she might not be as prominent as maybe some of the other people on here, but she's like a successful Steemian, and she writes awesome travel posts. Living UK Taiwan's another one. And these are all women that are just kind of out there making awesome content, you know, not saying I'm a woman, upvote me. So that's another project that I'm involved in. There's Curry as well. So I'm constantly looking for posts to submit to Curry, and I'm actually in quite a few Discord servers just as a lurker, just to, you know, see what's coming up there. And like I see art all the time, I see good writing all the time, and these, like, half of them are women. So I don't think that there's a problem getting women on here. Yeah, I don't see it. Maybe from some of the less developed countries, perhaps, where women don't quite have the same stance in society, but particularly with Western women, I'm not seeing it at all. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Rock on. Zipra, do you want to go talk about Steam Sugars some? I guess I'll keep bouncing around here. Do you have audio?
Hi there. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you great. What is Steam Sugars, and why? What's the vision? What's the mission? What should people know?
Well, I was trying to say that in the chat. I wish I could tell you I actually am super new there myself. In fact, it was just a lucky moment that I happened to be in there. I think I had just arrived there when you popped in the other day, and chatting with you and Soy Rosa was my first experience with Steam Sugars. So that's my full confession. I don't know yet, but so far I'm appreciating that it looks like it's yet another place that's really trying to uplift women on the platform. And as far as that is concerned, I'm actually really new. I've been on Steam It for about a month and a half now, and there are so many people who are here that I'm seeing in the chat that have really supported me and been incredible resources, and that has been the most valuable thing for me. I mean, I'm showing up as much as I can. I'm a photographer, and so that's the place that I'm most naturally plugged in, and I've just been I do writing as well, which I know, Aggie, you know, and a bunch of you guys have seen my writing. But I haven't experienced any kind of discrimination because I'm a woman. I don't think, in fact, I've for a newbie, I think I've done pretty well. I've actually gotten the Curie a few times already. And I think maybe that's just an indication that I really am trying to offer something good. I think my inclination right away is to beautify Steam It, because I see it as being very left-brained, a lot of it, even just the way it looks. And so I've wanted to, you know, I drop a beautiful photo in comments as well, not just keeping that for my posts on my blog, but really trying to craft everything that I say with care and just show up in the best way that I can and just keep offering good content. And I will say, Aggie, you giving me that re-steam the other day has been an incredible boon for me. Thank you. And again, connecting with all of you guys in these spaces. I think I'm on so many Discord servers now, I can barely keep up. But that's really been what has been like the most nourishing part of it, and really the reason why I'm here. You know, I can keep putting pretty pictures up there, but the connections that I've made and getting to know people from all over the world that I would ordinarily have no access to is really where the value lies for me.
How did you find Steam in the first place? What brought your attention to the blockchain and this website and this community?
It's a great question. My partner, actually, he's on Steemit. He's been pretty busy in his real life, so he hasn't been on there much. But at Tadius, if you go and look at him, he's got a lot of great content to offer. But he hasn't been on here that long either, but he has been lurking for quite a while. And he kept showing me, he just kept telling me, I think you should be on this. And he would show me these posts that, to my eye, were these really hastily crafted, not very well put together, typos everywhere, stock imagery that had just been pulled off of somewhere random on the internet, and stuff that really didn't look good quality to me, that was earning crazy amounts of money, or so it seemed to somebody looking in from the outside. And quite frankly, I know that everything I do with absolutely 100% of myself. And we both suspected that I would probably do pretty well if I just jumped on and started giving all of myself to this as well. So that I resisted for a while, because honestly, I'm pretty over the social media. I never go on Facebook or Instagram anymore, even though I've got pretty sizable followings. So I was begrudging, but I decided in the end that it was a good idea, and I think that he was probably right.
How did you find Steem Sugars, and what made you want to join that, and what was the appeal there?
You know how hard it is to retrace the rabbit hole. I think that I'm trying to remember whose post it was. I read somebody's post, and at the bottom of the post was a banner for Steem Sugars. So I'm not entirely sure who it was. Some badass woman that's on here. There are so many at this point, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint and say, okay, she's the reason. Since I've been here, I've been just following that intuition, and okay, that looks like a good thing to click. What's that? And that's how I ended up there.
All right. All right, Top Knot, do you want to dive in here? What's the project that you're working on? What do you want to share? You started in minnow support and seem to have some success that you've built. Do you want to talk about that?
I'm not gonna lie, you kind of cut out, so I didn't hear the ending part of that question.
Dang it! I'm gonna drop out and jump right back in. Hold on.
I know everyone calls me Top Knot.
Yeah. What is? Should I say Top K-pop? What do you?
Yeah, that's right. Top K-pop.
All right. So Top K-pop. What do you? People have whatever. I'm skipping the name thing. What do you want me to know? What have you been working on? What are the projects? Tell us about your pathway.
Okay, so I've been on Steemit since July. I did personally invest a little bit of money because I did believe in the platform. I still do. And currently right now, between a radio show that I have every Friday on Steem Star Network, as well as, oh, sorry if there's music in the background, as well as I am also one of the leaders of Steem USA. I'm actually one of 2 female leaders. There's 4 of us. There's 2 male, 2 female. And I also help with, I run an art contest where I see tons of women. I see tons of women all over this platform. And I also do some training in the Alliance group. But yeah, I was going to touch, I guess, kind of quickly on a lot of things that have been said. I have to back up what Crimson Clad said about being kind to each other. I think that is so, so necessary. I don't personally feel myself that I have been discriminated in any way, really, myself. But again, that's just me. I have been called sir before due to my little icon, but I changed that, which is why I have a female, picture now. I think on top of what I want to add to that is, I think when it comes down to it, whether you're male or female on this platform, you really have to try and be respectful to one another. Because sometimes, people will just not do that. And I really think it makes this platform way better for men, women, anything, to be honest. And I've been the most successful here personally by making connections. I think communities are extremely important. It doesn't matter which community you go into. I have my preferences, but I think making real connections, making real comments, really taking an invested interest in the people that, you follow and that follow you is totally, totally important.
All right. Shadows Pub, do you want to chime in here? And then we'll round out with Lima and I'll call this whole thing a day. So, Shadow?
I'm the community leader in Steam at Rambles, which comes from my curation posts by the same name. And I've also developed the Pimp Your Post Thursday programs on Thursday, which is run twice. Have I been treated differently as a woman on the platform? I don't think so. A lot of people do mistake me. They think I'm a guy, and they also think I'm hiding in some dark pub someplace. But I think that in general, men and women often treat each other differently. I know there was a conversation in Pimp Your Post Thursday one afternoon, and one of the women was mentioning about the fact that she felt she was treated differently, when people found out she was a woman. And one of the guys mentioned that he was often mistaken to be a woman, and when he identified as being a woman or a guy, I asked the question. I said, "Did you get treated differently?" And he said, "Yeah, he did." So I think that's a tendency that's built into our society, and we can change that through mutual respect.
Okay. Do you want to say anything else you want to share about growing an account, or how did you find Steem? What was there a message that appealed to you? What else should we know?
Well, I found Steem at kind of a perfect time in August of 2016 because I had made a decision that I was going to pursue writing on a more serious basis. And I happened to stumble down through a rabbit hole that brought me out at steemit.com. And I looked around and went, I don't know if this is for real, but let's give it a try and see what happens. And if nothing else, I'm published someplace. Took me a while to find the niche of curating posts from the concept of finding good quality posts and then journaling them into posts about them. And I would say that that's probably been my main niche, although I'm currently working on developing my fiction writing with the help of the people over there at the Writer's Block.
Nice to see that connection happening. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to round this out with Lima. Lima, you got Team Girl Power. Do you want to go talk a little bit about that and what the mission is?
Okay. Whew. Stupid. Oh, man. Making me wait for everything. I'm sorry. I have anxiety. Okay, I have to calm my heart down so I can talk. Very.
You got this. You got this.
Okay. What is Team Girl Power? What's the mission?
Okay, so we are an intersectional feminist group, which basically means that, a lot of people say third wave. I don't really like that term. That was a term that's placed on us that we didn't really choose. But basically, it means that a feminist who all women are not free unless all oppressed peoples are free. So we make specific emphasis on uplifting LGBT people of color, people with various abilities, and especially obviously because I have my mental health abilities, we have a lot of people in Team Girl Power that are abuse and rape and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's basically what we are. Consider it a safe space. It's not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm not the best leader. I try really hard, and I'm really, really passionate. And I started out basically hey, because I just need a space where I can kind of be away from, the jungle, and then I started upvoting everybody, and then with my little 2 cents, and it just grew and grew and grew, and every weeks we have kind of this weird transformation, and it's always gets mad about something and it sucks, but at the end of it we always find this new fruition. It's and that is really cool. So right now, I'm finding that Steem is bringing me a lot of people who resonate with the same kind of stuff that I resonate with, and see my heart struggle, and it's so hugely validating. And I really appreciate you, Agrode, for doing this, because honestly, I would have never believed that this could happen. I've been having discussions with you about this kind of thing for a while, and I would have never believed this could happen. To have such a large thing as MSP. Am I talking? You can hear me?
I can hear you. You're breaking up a little, but
okay,
I can hear you.
Am I cutting out?
You are a little bit, but keep it up. Maybe just talk a tiny bit slower.
Okay. I'm moving my computer closer to my. I don't know what part you guys cut out.
We heard it all, Lama. It's okay.
Okay.
So you have the server. The server's meant as a feminist server, meant to go uplift everybody, because you can't have free people as long as others are oppressed. Is that a fair summary?
Sound kind of sad about it, but yes, I'm very passionate about that. And I have like just a few more minutes?
Go for it. I mean, I'm 15 minutes into the next show, so I'm a little conscious of time, but if you have a short extra thing you'd like to share, please do.
Okay, I'll try and just read it quick, but I really wanted to read something that kind of that I wrote a while ago. Why I chose Girl Power. I chose Girl Power because I, Captain Girl Power, had yet to find a place to say Girl Power that wouldn't be met with disgust, annoyance, ridicule, or at least snark. To say I'm a feminist in a male-dominated space is an affront to them, unless some or most of themselves. I believe this is because men who were taught that women were meant not to challenge men, and that women having power means that they can. Men seem to find it. Am I being off here?
You're breaking up. Well, let's. I don't know.
Yes.
You got to. I don't know what to do. If I can't quite hear you.
Hang on.
So that
Lima, you're breaking up really, really bad. Do you want to quickly DM me what you're reading? And I'll read it out for you. I know that's not ideal, but I think everybody got your initial content a little easier, but it's starting to really break up now. So I want you to be able to finish with this statement. I will read it out for you with a slightly better connection. And then hopefully that at least more people will get to hear you, because I think your connection has it's shit the bed, my love.
I think someone was texting me. Can you hear me now?
It's still pretty bad.
It's okay. It's fine.
Okay. Well, on that note, I'd just like to thank everybody for having come in. This has been a fun panel. It's good to hear about what we need as a platform to help attract new people, as a platform that can highlight and raise up some very successful women to go have monster accounts, great projects, services that help us all. It's wonderful to see some of what we can accomplish, and it's I don't know, it's just fun to sort of hear from this powerhouse group of women of what can be accomplished, what can be thought of, how we can move forward, how we can build community, and frankly, how we can have nice things. So I'd just like to thank you all. I celebrate your accomplishments. I'm looking forward to many more on this platform. I appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday to come join the show. And with that, I'd like to stop the recording, hand this over to Crimson Clad. And Crimmy, what do we have? I'm going to stop the recording. Crimmy,